Have you ever noticed how your legs don't quite feel the same as they used to? Maybe it's when you climb the stairs, and halfway up you suddenly feel like your legs are heavier than they should be. Or maybe it's when you get out of a chair, and instead of springing up the way you used to, you find yourself pushing off the armrests for extra help. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Doctors will tell you that for most older adults, the legs are the very first muscles to weaken with age. And here's the scary part. Weak legs are the #1 predictor of falls, hospitalizations, and loss of independence in seniors. But the hopeful part is this: what you eat every single day can either make that problem worse, or it can reverse it faster than you think. Today, I'm going to share with you 6 powerful foods that have been shown to strengthen your legs, protect your muscles, and give you the energy to stay independent. These aren't exotic superfoods or expensive powders. They're everyday foods you can find right here in America at your local grocery store, and they can literally change the way you walk, stand, and live. Before we get into the foods themselves, I want you to picture something. Imagine 2 women, both 75 years old. One wakes up in the morning, sits at the edge of the bed, and struggles to stand. She shuffles to the kitchen, leaning on the counter, afraid her knees might buckle. The other, same age, gets up, stands tall, and walks to the kitchen with steady steps. She makes her coffee, bends to pick up the newspaper, and doesn't think twice about her balance. What's the difference between them? It's not luck, and it's not just genetics. In many cases, the second woman is eating the right foods, foods that nourish her muscles, protect her bones, and fight the silent inflammation that steals leg strength from older adults. That's what we're talking about today. Let's start with protein because it's the foundation of muscle. And the truth is, most seniors in America are not eating enough of it. For years, we were told to cut back on meat, eat smaller portions, and avoid high-protein diets. But now researchers are discovering that after age 60, your body actually needs more protein, not less. Why? Because muscle loss, known as sarcopenia, speeds up as we age. The average person over 65 loses up to 1% of muscle mass every year, and the legs are hit first. That's why something as simple as getting out of a chair can become difficult. Protein is the raw material your body uses to repair and rebuild those muscles. Without it, even if you exercise, your muscles won't recover properly. And here's the kicker. Most seniors only eat a small portion of protein at dinner and almost none at breakfast. That's backwards. Your muscles need protein spread throughout the day. Eggs in the morning, chicken or turkey at lunch, beans or fish at dinner. Every meal should have some. And when it comes to leg strength, studies show that people who consistently eat enough protein not only keep their muscle mass, but also maintain faster walking speed, better balance, and greater independence. But protein isn't just about quantity, it's about quality. Lean meats like chicken breast, turkey, and fish are excellent, but don't forget about dairy. Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, and even a glass of milk can pack a punch of muscle-friendly protein. And for those who prefer plant-based options, beans, lentils, quinoa, and soy are fantastic. What matters is making protein a daily priority. I knew a man named John, a retired veteran from Ohio, who swore by his daily breakfast of scrambled eggs and Greek yogurt. At 78, he was still mowing his lawn and carrying heavy groceries, and he credited his strong legs to never skipping protein. His doctor even told him, "Your legs look 20 years younger than your age." That's the power of fueling your muscles the right way. Now let's move to the second food category, leafy greens. And no, this isn't just about vitamins. Leafy greens like spinach, kale, and collard greens are packed with nitrates, and nitrates have a very special role in muscle function. They help your body produce nitric oxide, which improves blood flow to your muscles. That means when you walk, climb stairs, or squat down, your muscles get more oxygen and nutrients, allowing them to work longer and recover faster. A study out of Australia found that older adults who ate just 1 serving of leafy greens every day had significantly better leg strength and walking speed than those who didn't. Think about that. Just 1 serving a day could be the difference between steady legs and wobbly steps. Leafy greens are also rich in magnesium and calcium, minerals your muscles need to contract properly. Have you ever felt a sudden leg cramp at night? That's often linked to low magnesium. Eating spinach or Swiss chard regularly can help keep those cramps away and your muscles firing smoothly. I once spoke with a woman named Margaret, 82 years old, who started adding a spinach salad with her lunch every day. Within a few months, she told me she felt stronger walking to her mailbox and less tired climbing the steps to her porch. She said, "It's like my legs got a second wind." That's the kind of transformation we're aiming for. The third food that deserves a spotlight is salmon. And I'm not just talking about any fish. I mean fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, or sardines. These are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which fight inflammation. Why does that matter? Because chronic low-level inflammation eats away at muscle tissue over time. It weakens your legs from the inside out. Omega-3s act like a shield, protecting your muscles and even helping your body respond better to exercise. One fascinating study showed that seniors who combined resistance training with omega-3 supplementation gained more muscle and strength than those who only trained. In other words, eating salmon a couple of times a week can make every step, every squat, and every stretch more effective for building strength. Salmon is also packed with high-quality protein, vitamin D, and B vitamins, all crucial for muscle health. Vitamin D, in particular, is a big deal. Many older adults in America are deficient in it, especially in northern states where sunlight is limited. Low vitamin D is directly linked to weaker legs and higher fall risk. That's why salmon is such a powerhouse food. It delivers protein, omega-3s, 4, and vitamin D in one package. If salmon isn't your favorite, you can try tuna, sardines, or even fortified eggs. But adding fatty fish to your weekly meals can make a remarkable difference in how strong and steady your legs feel. Now, let me ask you, have you ever thought about beets? They might not be the first food that comes to mind when you think about strong legs, but they should be. Beets are one of the best natural sources of dietary nitrates, even more concentrated than leafy greens. Drinking beet juice or eating roasted beets has been shown to improve exercise performance, endurance, and muscle efficiency. Athletes use beets for stamina, but seniors can benefit just as much. Imagine walking farther with less fatigue, climbing stairs without stopping, or gardening longer without your legs giving out. That's the beet effect. Plus, beets support healthy blood pressure and circulation, which means more oxygen to those leg muscles. I knew a retired nurse who started blending beet smoothies a few times a week. Told me it was like she had new legs. Her walks went from 10 minutes to 30 minutes, and she felt energized instead of exhausted. As we move forward, I want to stress something important. These foods aren't magic bullets on their own. They work best when combined into a balanced lifestyle. Protein builds the muscle, leafy greens and beets improve circulation, and salmon fights inflammation. Together, they create a powerful system that not only strengthens your legs, but also keeps your entire body resilient. And remember, the earlier you start, the better. But even if you're in your 70s or 80s, it's not too late. Your body is remarkably capable of rebuilding and regaining strength when you give it the right fuel. Let me share a quick story that always inspires me. A man named George, 81 years old, was struggling to get around his house. His doctor warned him that his legs were weakening dangerously, and he feared losing his independence. Instead of giving up, George started small. He added scrambled eggs for breakfast, spinach with lunch, salmon for dinner twice a week, and beet juice in the mornings. Within 3 months, he noticed something amazing. He could stand up from his chair without bracing himself. His daughter said, "Dad, you look steadier on your feet." And he told me, "I feel like I got my life back." That's the kind of turnaround anyone can experience, and it starts with food. So, in this first part of our journey, we've already seen how protein, leafy greens, salmon, and beets can transform leg health. In the next chapter, we'll dive deeper into 2 more foods that pack incredible benefits for seniors' legs. Plus, we'll talk about how to put it all together into a simple, American-friendly meal plan you can start using right away. Because it's one thing to know what foods are good for you, and another thing entirely to know how to use them daily in a way that's easy, enjoyable, and sustainable. Now that we've covered protein, leafy greens, salmon, and beets, let's move to 2 more powerful foods that don't always get the attention they deserve, but can make a remarkable difference in leg strength. These are foods you can find easily in any American grocery store, and they've been backed by strong research when it comes to protecting muscles, bones, and overall mobility as we age. I'm talking about eggs and sweet potatoes. And before you think, really, sweet potatoes? Aren't those just side dishes? I want you to hear me out, because once you understand what they do for your legs, you'll never look at them the same way again. Let's start with eggs. Eggs are one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. They're often called nature's multivitamin, and for good reason. For each egg is packed with high-quality protein, which we've already discussed as being essential for muscle repair and growth. But here's the unique thing about eggs. They contain leucine, an amino acid that specifically stimulates muscle protein synthesis. In plain English, that means eggs don't just give your body the raw materials to build muscle. They actually flip the switch that tells your muscles it's time to grow stronger. That's why so many strength studies on seniors show a direct benefit when eggs are part of the diet. Beyond protein, eggs deliver vitamin D, B vitamins, and choline. Vitamin D, as we said earlier, is critical for muscle and bone health. Many seniors in the U.S. don't get enough of it, especially during the winter months, and eggs are one of the few natural food sources. Choline supports nerve function, which is vital for coordination. Think about it. What good are strong muscles if the nerves sending the signals aren't firing properly? Eggs support both, making them a double win. Now, some folks worry about cholesterol in eggs. For decades, eggs got a bad rap, but modern science has shown that, for most people, dietary cholesterol from eggs has little to no impact on blood cholesterol levels. In fact, the American Heart Association now states that eggs can be part of a heart-healthy diet. And when it comes to seniors trying to strengthen their legs and maintain independence, eggs are one of the most affordable, accessible protein sources out there. Scrambled, boiled, poached, or in an omelette with veggies, they fit easily into any meal. I remember meeting a gentleman named Carl, 77 years old, from North Carolina. He had trouble keeping up with his grandkids because his legs would tire so quickly. His doctor recommended adding eggs to his breakfast instead of his usual toast and jam. Within weeks, Carl noticed his energy picking up. Within months, he told me he could walk through the park with his grandkids without stopping to rest on the benches. He laughed and said, "Those eggs are working harder than my gym shoes." That's the kind of transformation eggs can bring to seniors who are serious about rebuilding leg strength. Now let's turn to sweet potatoes. At first glance, sweet potatoes may seem like just another starchy vegetable, but they're far more than that. They're one of the richest sources of potassium and beta-carotene, and both are crucial for strong, steady legs. Potassium helps regulate muscle contractions and prevents cramps. How many times have you woken up in the middle of the night with a painful calf cramp, or felt your legs tighten after a walk? That's often linked to low potassium, especially in older adults. Sweet potatoes provide a gentle, natural source of this mineral without the added sodium that comes with processed foods. Sweet potatoes are also packed with complex carbohydrates, which provide steady energy. Seniors often find themselves feeling fatigued partway through daily activities, not because their muscles aren't capable, but because they don't have the sustained energy to fuel them. Sweet potatoes release their energy slowly, keeping blood sugar levels stable and giving you lasting strength for walking, climbing stairs, or gardening. And unlike white bread or sugary snacks, sweet potatoes don't cause spikes and crashes. They support steady, reliable energy that your legs can count on. The beta-carotene in sweet potatoes converts into vitamin A in the body, which supports not just vision, but also cell repair and immune health. Why does that matter for your legs? Because healthy muscles require strong cells that can repair themselves after daily use. And when your immune system is strong, your body spends less energy fighting off inflammation and more energy fueling your muscles. It's a holistic effect. What you eat for overall health directly shows up in your strength and balance. I'll share a story that really illustrates the power of this food. A woman named Elaine, age 74, from Kentucky, struggled with constant leg cramps and fatigue. She loved gardening but could only stay outside for 15 minutes before needing to sit. Her nutritionist suggested she swap her usual white potatoes for sweet potatoes a few times a week. She started baking them, mashing them, even adding cubes of roasted sweet potato to her salads. Within weeks, she noticed fewer cramps. Within months, her energy improved so much that she said she was back to spending whole afternoons in her garden. She told me, "Sweet potatoes gave me my legs back." Sometimes it's not about drastic changes, it's about smarter substitutions. Now, let's pause for a moment and think about the big picture. At this point, we've covered protein sources like chicken, fish, and eggs, leafy greens and beets for circulation, and sweet potatoes for minerals and energy. Each food has its unique role, but together they form a powerful system that directly targets the biggest challenge seniors face: muscle loss in the legs. Imagine this as building blocks. Protein repairs the bricks. Leafy greens and beets improve the cement holding them together. Salmon and omega-3s protect them from erosion. And sweet potatoes provide the fuel to keep construction going strong. Every time you sit, stand, walk, or climb, you're drawing on this foundation. And the stronger the foundation, the more confident and independent you feel. But let's be honest, knowing the foods is only half the battle. The real challenge is how to use them consistently in a way that feels easy and enjoyable. Nobody wants to feel like they're on a strict senior diet. The beauty of these foods is that they're flexible, delicious, and can fit into the American way of eating without feeling forced. Picture this: breakfast could be scrambled eggs with spinach and a slice of whole grain toast. Lunch might be a salmon salad with leafy greens and beets. Dinner could be roasted chicken with sweet potatoes and a side of steamed broccoli. That's not a diet. That's a satisfying, normal menu that just happens to be powerfully healing for your legs. I know some people worry about cost. Salmon can be pricey, but remember, you don't need it every day. Twice a week is plenty. Eggs are one of the cheapest protein sources you can buy. Sweet potatoes are affordable, especially in bulk. Leafy greens can be fresh, frozen, or even canned. And beans or lentils can stretch your budget while still giving you protein and fiber. Eating for leg strength doesn't have to break the bank. It just requires a little planning and a willingness to make swaps that pay back in energy and independence. Another point worth mentioning is variety. Seniors often fall into eating the same foods every day. Toast for breakfast, sandwich for lunch, meat and potatoes for dinner. While routine can be comforting, it also limits nutrient diversity. By rotating these leg-strengthening foods, you ensure your muscles get the full spectrum of what they need. Think of it like fueling your car. You wouldn't only put in half the ingredients for gasoline and expect the engine to run. Your body works the same way. It needs the complete package. Now let's talk about something most people don't consider: digestion and absorption. As we age, our bodies don't absorb nutrients as efficiently as they used to. That means it's not just about what you eat. It's about how your body uses it. Pairing foods smartly can make a huge difference. For example, eating leafy greens with a little healthy fat, like olive oil, helps your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A and K. Eating vitamin C, foods like bell peppers or citrus with plant-based iron sources like beans or spinach, boosts iron absorption. These small combinations ensure that the nutrients from your leg-strengthening foods actually get into your muscles where they're needed most. One last story before we close this chapter. I met a couple in their late 70s, Harold and June, who lived in Florida. They had always been active, but recently they both noticed their legs getting weaker. Climbing stairs was a challenge, and they were afraid of losing their independence. Instead of giving up, they decided to revamp their diet together. Every morning they ate eggs with spinach. For lunch, they alternated between salmon salads and bean soups with leafy greens. For dinner, sweet potatoes became their staple, paired with chicken or turkey. Within 3 months, both of them felt the difference. June told me, "I feel like I got spring in my step again." Harold said, "We're eating like Americans always have, but smarter." And it works. Their story proves that it doesn't take complicated changes, just consistent, intentional choices. So as we wrap up this second chapter, remember this: your legs are the first to weaken, but they're also the first to respond when you give them the right fuel. Eggs turn on the muscle-building switch. Sweet potatoes deliver the minerals and energy your muscles crave. Combined with the other foods we discussed earlier, they form a complete toolkit for strength, stability, and confidence. The key is consistency, not perfection. You don't have to eat every food every day. But if you weave them into your weekly routine, your legs will feel the difference. In the final chapter, we'll take everything we've learned and talk about long-term strategies, how to build habits that stick, how to combine these foods into simple meals, and how to pair nutrition with small lifestyle tweaks that amplify the results. Because the truth is, eating the right foods is powerful, but when you combine them with the right daily actions, the benefits multiply. That's when you not only strengthen your legs, but transform your whole life. So far, we've talked about some of the most powerful foods that can rebuild your legs: chicken, fish, leafy greens, beets, eggs, and sweet potatoes. Each one plays its role, from repairing muscle tissue to fueling energy to preventing cramps. But let's take a step back now and look at the bigger picture. Because at the end of the day, food doesn't work in isolation. It works when you make it part of your everyday life, when it becomes a habit, a routine, something you look forward to instead of something you feel forced into. And that's what this final part is all about, how to live in a way that makes these foods work for you, not just for a week, but for years to come. Let's start with one simple truth: consistency beats intensity. Too often, people think they need a big, dramatic change to see results. They imagine they need to go on some strict, senior superfood diet or give up all their favorite meals. But the truth is, your legs don't need perfection. They need persistence. If you're eating 1 or 2 of these leg-strengthening foods every single day, you're already giving your body what it needs. You don't have to eat salmon 7 nights a week or eat spinach at every meal. What matters is that over the course of the week, you're hitting those nutrients regularly. Here's a practical way to think about it. Build your meals around a core. Breakfast is your protein and energy meal. Eggs, yogurt, or a protein smoothie with spinach and fruit can give you a head start. Lunch is your balance and circulation meal, maybe a salmon salad with leafy greens and beets, or chicken with roasted vegetables. Dinner is your comfort and recovery meal, sweet potatoes, beans, chicken, or fish with a side of greens. If you think about your meals this way, you naturally rotate through all 6 foods without even trying. You're not following a diet, you're following a rhythm. And that rhythm fuels your legs day after day. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, but I don't like spinach, or I can't afford salmon every week. And that's okay. There's always flexibility. Don't like spinach. Try kale Swiss chard or collard greens. Can't buy salmon. Try tuna, sardines, or even eggs more often. Don't want sweet potatoes every day. Alternate with beans, lentils, or quinoa. The point isn't to follow a rigid rulebook. It's to find foods that you'll actually eat and enjoy, because enjoyment is what makes habits last. Americans love variety, and that's your greatest strength here. You can always swap, mix, and match to suit your taste. Another long-term strategy is combining food with movement. Eating the right foods will rebuild your legs, but pairing that with even simple daily exercises amplifies the results. Think about it. When you eat protein, your muscles get the building blocks they need. But when you exercise, you tell your body exactly where to use those blocks. That's why seniors who combine nutrition with even light strength training see dramatic improvements in leg strength and mobility. And I'm not talking about heavy gym workouts. I'm talking about walking, chair squats, calf raises, or standing on one leg while brushing your teeth. When you fuel your muscles and then challenge them, they respond faster and stronger. Take, for example, Mrs. Green, a 72-year-old from Ohio. She started adding eggs and leafy greens to her daily meals, but she also began a simple habit of walking up and down her hallway 10 times each morning. At first, it was tiring. But within weeks, she noticed her legs feeling sturdier. Within months, she could go shopping without needing to rest every 10 minutes. When she combined food with small, consistent movement, her body rewarded her with independence. That's the formula: food plus movement equals freedom. Hydration is another overlooked factor. Seniors often don't feel thirsty the way they used to, so they drink less water. But dehydration directly weakens your muscles and affects your balance. Think of your muscles like sponges. When they're hydrated, they're supple, strong, and responsive. When they're dry, they're stiff, weak, and prone to cramping. Drinking water throughout the day, not just when you're thirsty, supports everything we've talked about so far. And here's a trick: pair your hydration with your meals. Every time you eat one of those leg-strengthening foods, drink a glass of water with it. You'll not only digest the nutrients better, but you'll also create a routine that keeps you hydrated without even thinking about it. Now, let's talk about the American lifestyle for a moment. We're a country built on convenience. Fast food, microwavable meals, grab-and-go snacks, and while those can be helpful at times, they often lack the nutrients your legs desperately need. The good news is you don't have to give up convenience to eat better. You just need smarter swaps. Instead of chips, grab a handful of nuts or roasted chickpeas. Instead of soda, go for sparkling water with a slice of lemon. Instead of frozen pizza every week, keep frozen vegetables and salmon fillets in your freezer for quick, healthy meals. These small shifts keep you aligned with the foods that build your legs without taking away the ease of modern living. Something else to remember: your environment shapes your habits. If your pantry is filled with processed snacks and sugary treats, you're going to eat them. But if your fridge is stocked with eggs, greens, and sweet potatoes, that's what you'll reach for. One of the simplest, most effective strategies is to make your environment work for you, not against you. Place a bowl of fresh fruit on the counter instead of cookies. Keep water bottles in plain sight. Prep roasted vegetables at the start of the week so they're ready to add to meals. When healthy options are the easiest options, your habits stick. Now let's look at the bigger impact. Why does all of this matter so much? Because leg strength is directly tied to independence. Studies show that seniors who maintain strong legs are less likely to fall, less likely to be hospitalized, and more likely to live independently into their 80s and 90s. Strong legs mean you can carry your groceries, climb your porch steps, play with your grandkids, and keep driving yourself around town. Weak legs mean relying on others, losing confidence, and giving up the activities you love. This isn't just about food, it's about your freedom. Every bite of salmon, every forkful of greens, every egg, every sweet potato is an investment in your independence. I want to share one last story that brings this home. Tom and Mary, a couple in their late 70s from Texas, were beginning to struggle. Tom had trouble standing from his recliner, and Mary found herself relying on her cane more often. They were afraid of losing their home because they couldn't manage the stairs. Instead of giving up, they made a commitment to change their meals. They added eggs and spinach to breakfast, salmon once a week, sweet potatoes twice a week, and a big salad with beets and chicken most days. Within 6 months, their energy and leg strength had improved so much that Tom no longer needed help getting out of his chair, and Mary said her cane spent more time leaning against the wall than in her hand. She told me, "It feels like we got our life back." That's the power of consistent, intentional choices. So as we close, let's bring it all together. Your legs are the first to weaken with age, but they're also the first to respond when you give them the right nutrition. The 6 foods we've talked about: chicken, salmon, leafy greens, beets, eggs, and sweet potatoes are your foundation. They repair muscles, fuel energy, improve circulation, prevent cramps, and keep you steady on your feet. Combine them with daily movement, hydration, and a supportive environment, and you create a life where your legs don't hold you back but carry you forward. Now, here's my challenge to you. Don't just listen and nod. Pick one food from this list and add it to your next meal. Maybe it's scrambled eggs tomorrow morning, or roasted sweet potatoes tonight, or a leafy green salad at lunch. Start small, stay consistent, and watch the difference it makes. And as you see that difference, keep building. 2 foods, 3 foods, all 6 foods woven into your life. That's how you create lasting strength and independence. And before we finish, I want to invite you to come back here every week. On this channel, we dive deep into senior health, how to eat, move, and live in ways that protect your body and give you back your confidence. Every video is designed with you in mind. Simple, practical, and proven tips that make a real difference. So if this video has helped you, don't stop here. Subscribe, click the bell, and keep joining me, because your health journey doesn't end with this one step. It's a lifelong path, and I'll be right here walking it with you. Remember, your best years aren't behind you. They're still ahead. Strong legs, steady steps, and a life of independence are within your reach. All it takes is the right food, the right habits, and the choice to begin today.